Hey my babies, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Raya J, and I'm back with another video. Today is Thursday, my babies. I hope all is well with you all is well with me. And I hope we all are continuing to stay about happiness, peace, and love. And I hope we all are continuing to stay determined, motivated, and focused. And I hope we all are continuing to walk in the alignment of stars that Allah has for us. So in today's video, my babies, the day has finally come. We're going to be discussing my anxiety and my OCD. Yeah, that's what we're gonna get into. I hope that light, my lights back there are not disturbing y'all, but I'm actually eating breakfast at the same time. I just had me a butter bagel here. This is not a mukbang. Your girl is just, it's breakfast time for your girl. So in today's video, I basically want to just give y'all an update of my anxiety state and my OCD state, okay? Now, I'm gonna first start off with, y'all know that I was clinically diagnosed with anxiety at the beginning of 2019. Now, just picture my life for a minute. Like, imagine, I literally, not even imagine, but just understand this. Basically, I went my entire life thinking something was wrong with me because I do have family that suffered with bipolar, schizophrenic, and depression, okay? And I literally growing up, because the women in my family suffer with these mental illnesses, I literally thought that I had bipolar, schizophrenic, you know what I mean? I just thought something was wrong with me. So throughout my entire life, I was trying to figure out, who am I? Do I have any mental illnesses, because I want to get to the root of who I am, and I want to know how to better improve myself, and live the best life that I have to live, So at the age of 25, at the beginning of 2019, I finally was clinically diagnosed with anxiety, and literally when my therapist told me that, it was literally like a weight lifted off my shoulders, because it wasn't bipolar, it wasn't schizophrenic, it wasn't, oh, she crazy, certain family members used to talk about me like, that's just Raya, right? That's how Raya is, And all along, I have anxiety, and all along, I have been in multiple states of depression because of the circumstances and struggles of my life that I have went through, and, my life is not an excuse. Anything that happened in my life is not an excuse, but it is surreal. Like, it is legit. I have been through many traumatic things in my life, and as a young woman, it was hard for me to fathom all of that, so I did act out and be rebellious. I did do things to get attention, you know what I mean? I did what is the fucking word? I did self-sabotage myself in certain situations, in certain moments of my life, because I was trying to figure myself out, and I was trying to, come to grips with who I am, and what I deal with, so me being diagnosed with anxiety was really a blessing in my life, because now I know what I deal with, but just to fast forward now to the present, I'm not currently in therapy. I haven't been in therapy in a while, I know that I was in therapy back in 2015, and I did a few sessions with my therapist, and then I did a few sessions at the beginning of this year with my therapist, the same therapist from 2015, And I basically like just opened up my entire life to her, and she was so shocked that I was telling her, like, from my childhood and everything that I've been through, and losing my mom and the genital herpes, and and then recently finding out that I have a skin disease, and that has nothing to do with the herpes, and just the mental and physical and emotional abuse, and not having emotional support from my family, and just literally being a young girl in this world, dealing with so much trauma and past hurt and pain, and having my own insecurities as an individual. She fully understood everything that I that the decisions that I made, and the choices that I was given, and the energy that I was surrounding myself with during my really tough times of my life, but as I started to just really live in my truth and accept who I am and accept what I've been through, and just really start to love myself, because I did a video in 2018, and it was called I think it's called like Black Clouds and Suicidal Thoughts. And in that video, if you haven't watched that video, you should go back and watch that video, because in that video I really got real. I really expressed to y'all how I had suicidal thoughts, when I was diagnosed with herpes, because it was really hard for me. I was 14 years old. When you're 14, you're a baby. You know what I mean? You're a baby. You may think you know what's going on. You may think you know yourself, but you don't. You're a baby. You know what I mean? And I was a baby, and for me to go through such a traumatic thing in my life and not have any emotional, mental, physical support, and just have no therapy, nobody to look up to, nobody to talk to, that was a really tough time for me. And I was suicidal at that time, and that was the reasons why I was, wow, this is the first time I'm actually gonna share this, but I actually used to hurt myself. Like, I used to like scratch my arms and physically cause myself pain because I was hurting. From the inside, I was really struggling with who I am, and not knowing, like, where my life is gonna go, is somebody ever gonna love me? And I remember one time me and my brother, my little brother, for those of you who don't know, I have a little brother and an older sister, and then I have like a god brother and a god sister, that pretty much sums it up. And I remember I was a young girl, and me and my little brother, we always used to fight and argue and bicker. So I remember me and him, we got into like an argument or whatever. I was trying to like make up the bed in the room. I don't know if I shared this story before, but I'm gonna share it again, because it is it goes with what I'm talking about right now. So he was messing with me while I was trying to make the bed, and fold the blanket, and I'm folding the blanket. You know how the blanket is so big that sometimes you'll have to like fold half of it on the floor and then like connect the ends of the blanket and then pick it up and fold it, and fold it all together, whatever. So he literally like planted himself on the blanket when the blanket was on the floor. And I was like, get up, move from the blanket, telling him. And he was laughing, joking around, so I maliciously yanked the blanket. I was like, why you need it? What I said, I was like, why are you not listening? You need to get off the blanket. I'm trying to fold the blanket. And I maliciously, I did it on purpose. I pulled the blanket. And he ended up banging his chin on the floor. And I think he was bleeding and crying. And he ran into my aunt's room and told her. He was like, Ma, he called her Ma, you know, because she'd been in his life since he was 1 year old when he lost his mother. I was 5, just turning 6 when I lost my mom. I'm talking about our same mothers, but you know what I'm trying to say. So she called me in the room, my aunt, and she was like, why would you do that? And she put me on punishment. Now, although I did it on purpose, I was trying to explain to her that he was not listening. Had he listened and got off the blanket when he see me folding the blanket, none of this would have happened. She didn't want to hear nothing. She put me on punishment and told me to sit in the corner. While I was in the corner, I was so mad that she did not let me express myself and tell my side of what happened and why I did it. Like, I knew I was wrong, but hear me out, you know what I mean? And tell him he needs to listen because I'm his older sister, you know what I mean? So I was so pissed. So while I was sitting in the corner, I literally was scratching my arm. Scratching it, heated. And it started bleeding. So I was like, my arm is bleeding. I told her from the corner. She was like, how is your arm bleeding, Raya? Come here. So I was like, I scratched my arm until it bled. You know what I mean? And she was like, go clean that shit off, you know? And really just brushed me off, you know? I was a really sad child, you know? A really sad child, struggling internally, depressed because I didn't understand why did my mother die, you know what I mean? Why do I now have to live this life? Where's my father? Why are me and my siblings always fighting? You know what I mean? Like, I was a really sad child internally. Like, and although I really tried my best to, you know, enjoy my childhood and enjoy my friends and have fun, inside I was really a sad girl, you know. So now this is where my OCD comes to play. Not only was I depressed, sad, dealing with anxiety and didn't know it my entire life, every time, like, you know how a child has an accident and they may fall down and scrape their leg and scrape their knee. I was a very clumsy child. Like, I would be playing tag and trip running up the stairs. I would be jumping over one place and you know, just hurt myself. You know what I mean? One time I fell off my bike, and that's how I got this deep gash underneath my chin. I was riding my bike with the boys, and I tried to make a turn, like turn, and I bust my ass. I fell off the bike, and my chin said boom on the concrete where it holds the grass and the trees or whatever in my old neighborhood. So, you know, I really just used to get hurt a lot. So every time I would get hurt, and you know how your cut is healing or whatever, and it forms the scab, I always would pick my scabs, you know. And I just thought, like, you know, maybe this is who I am or whatever. And it wasn't until I expressed to my dermatologist when I got diagnosed with my hidradenitis suppurativa at the beginning of this year. Y'all know that's my skin disease, and you know, I have it on my face, my underarms, and my pubic area. And if you don't know, you should look it up. You know, it is not as rare as people think. It's an inflammatory chronic skin disease, and you get boils, you get blackheads, whiteheads, and it forms terrible scars on your areas where you get the disease. Some people get it on their neck, on their arms, on their back, on their thighs. It's different for everybody, you know. So, and if you haven't, you could go back and watch I was diagnosed with and my skin disease update videos, because I do talk about all of that. So, excuse me, I remember just when I started going to see my dermatologist for my face, because y'all know that I have this platform, and I just want to be able to give y'all, content of quality, and I want to be able to get on camera and be confident and, give y'all my best selves, so I wanted to improve my skin. I was tired of walking around with black spots on my face and stuff, so that's when she, started to treat me for my skin disease and everything and for my scars. So basically I told her that I pick my scabs and everything like that, and that's why when I do have the flare-ups on my skin and I get the scars, it gets worse. But she told me, yes, you have OCD. So